Good afternoon, good evening. I am Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News. And as many of you know, Harlem Network News is a media platform. We started at the onset of COVID, and we are still here. We are dedicated to assuring that Harlem and the Harlems of the world are informed, engaged, and called to action. We consider ourselves the voice and drumbeat of Harlem, and we are an essential service because often our stories are not covered. And if our stories are covered, they might not get it right. So who better to tell and share our stories than ourselves? So today is a powerful day, as is every day. It's a great day in Harlem. We want to congratulate. A lot happened this week. Jordan Wright was elected in the primary, Democratic primary for State Assembly District 70, which is Central Harlem. He's legacy, you could say, the grandson of Cut 'em Loose Bruce, the judge. His father was Steve Wright. And we're moving forward. Congratulations, Jordan. But you know we're going to hold you accountable. Harlem Staying Strong is about accountability. But bless you, and new energy, young energy. And he was endorsed by many, many, many of our public officials. So it's good to see everyone come together, one Harlem. We salute you, Queen Inez Dickens, as you move and help Jordan move into your position. We also want to shout out the Abyssinian Baptist Church, who has, after 2 years, actually elected a new minister, and that is in the person of Dr. Kevin Johnson, coming out of Philadelphia. And shout out to you, Dr. Reverend Hargard, who has held it down for 2 years. So we just say, so goes Harlem, so goes the world, so goes Abyssinia, so goes Harlem. And we're going to move forward. We have an incredible guest with us today as we approach the 53rd International African Arts Festival. Some people just call it festival, but here we are, and that is in the person of Baba Adeyummi Bandele. Please say hello to the Harlem audience and tell us who you are, whose you are, and just a little bit of history. What is festival? Thank you, Baba. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna have to try and remember all of that. However, first of all, I want to thank you for inviting us. It's good to be back on your show again. And we are glad to hear about the developments uptown, as we call y'all, in Brooklyn.
Okay.
But the festival is back. This is, as you said, our 53rd year. There aren't too many cultural institutions, particularly those that are located in our community, that provide what we provide in terms of culture, Pan-African culture that touches Africa, the Caribbean, and the States, and even Europe, in fact. So we're back for our 53rd year. This will be our last year at our current site, which is Commodore Barry Park, downtown Brooklyn. And, God has an incredible sense of humor. We actually need a different site, but we have kind of been stuck in that one.
Okay.
So what happened was the creator made it such that we now have to find another place because the park is being renovated. And in fact, we just dodged the bullet because they were looking to begin before festival, which would have really jammed us in terms of our.
Wow.
But creator showed up and said, you all have to wait till after festival. And so we will be moving on from here. And we will need another site. And we are asking folks, particularly in the Brooklyn area, if you know of something, let us know. We can follow it up. In fact, Dr. Shabaka, the board chair, just recently shared a listing of locations that someone has shared with us. And so we're going to investigate those. The challenge that we face, by the way, so we bring folks up to speed, that's a city park. And consequently, we are technically not supposed to charge admission. Now, there is a little caveat to that. Some people may say, well, Afro-punk charges. And what happens there is that there is another category where if you pay an enormous amount, then you can take over the entire area because those have been there, they fence in the area and all of that. But they pay a greater charge for that. We don't have that, so we can't take that route. The folks who have been with us over the years knew that our greatest location was Boys and Girls High.
Absolutely.
And so
we all have memories of Boys and Girls High. Yes,
absolutely.
we do.
It was a godsend because it's right above the A train. There are buses going every way, and the folks in the community knew about us. And as we always do, we collaborated with the community-based groups there, and they supported us in terms of working with parking. And we also had to be responsible to make sure that we did not encroach on that community in any negative way. So we're moving, we've got a new space. However, this year, with our theme, Sila Dijiguiba, which simply means path of hope. And it certainly is an appropriate one because we're moving forward with hope that we can secure another venue where we will then be able to charge admission. You know, unfortunately, because of the, I'm not sure how to place that, but you know, sometimes our people have difficulty supporting our own, unless they are placed in a position where they have no other choice and they want to be there. At festival, we generated an income at Boys and Girls High because folks paid, and it was a nominal $5 or so per day. But when you add that up over several days, and at that time, those of you who were with us back then, that place was jam-packed. So we were experiencing the self-determination that needs to happen. Once Boys and Girls decided that they were going to renovate their field, we were out of there, and we ended up down at Boys and Girls at the current site, which is again a city-owned facility. So that's where we are. Festival begins Thursday, July 4th, which is Independence Day for folks here, and will conclude on July 7th. We're at the same location, once again, Commodore Barry Park, and that's located at Park Avenue and Navy Street, downtown Brooklyn. We will run from 1 to 9 p.m. every day.
Okay, wonderful.
1 to 9 every day. And we're having several special events this year. It is a jam-packed festival this year. You know, we're going out with a bang on this location. First of all, will be the traditional activities that take place on our main stage. I've been blessed to be one of the MCs for that stage. And I am currently
look forward
the vice chair of the board of directors, having been with festival since its very beginning. I think you asked me about from whence we came.
Yes, absolutely. I always want to make sure I make no assumptions. You know, some of our audience has been with festival those 53 years, knows Boys and Girls High, knows when we moved to the street, knows when we moved to the park. But we also want to make sure that our young people, or just people who are just coming into the consciousness of festival, that they know what festival is, they know where festival came from. And thank you so much. For those that are just tuning in, I'm Terri Wisdom. This is Harlem Network News. And I am here with Baba Adeyummi Bandele, and he is the vice chair. He's a vice chair of festival. So just give a little context and a little background. Thank you.
Yes. As one of the founding members of festival, it began simply as a way to celebrate the graduates of our independent school, Uhuru Sasa. And so for that year, we had a celebration outdoors, brought in a stage, had local vendors, prepared food, etc. The response was so overwhelming that we continued that. And we outgrew the space in two ways. One, in terms of capacity, but two, our neighbors were getting a little bit challenged by us. We were neighbors to one of the oldest African American Catholic churches in the city, St.
Okay.
Peter Claver. But you know, it really made sense. Our progression has always been forced by circumstances, but they've always been good.
Mm-hmm.
So while there was a little hassle there, it really propelled us. Dr. Karenga talks about, I'm sorry, not Dr. Karenga, but one of the proverbs that I love to use. It says that to stumble is to move forward quickly. And so what happened was we moved to Boys and Girls High, which is an incredible institution in the city of New York, renowned for the athletes that have come out of there, but they've also had scholars. And the venue, when we got in there, is two parts. There is a field, which is the athletic field, and then there's a wide area that's covered by the school itself. So we began in the first couple of years, we were underneath this overhang. And Terry, let me tell you, there were some nights where you could not go from one side to the other because it was so jam packed with the artisans. Some people call them vendors, but because of the quality of crafts that they produce, we call them craftspeople. So finally, we moved out into the field. And Terry, it didn't take long before the field, I mean, it became an epitome of an African village.
Absolutely.
That's the only way you could describe it. And
big traffic jam walking around the field sometimes, but it
yes, but you know, but listen, never once did we have any kind of madness go on, because there was such an energy about that place, and because it was a family affair. There was no alcohol, so nobody was getting drunk and acting stupid and all of that. So that's been our journey. And then what happened? They then had to repair or fix up Boys and Girls High School field, and we end up downtown. So now we're going to probably pivot back, and will, with God's blessing, find a venue that we can rent and control that, so that folks will be able to make their contribution. But it also allows us to now begin to bring back some of the major artists that we used to be able to bring to festival, because we were charging and had the finances to do it. You know, we bringing in Fela.
Fela, yes, I remember. I was there.
was a major feat. You know, Lauryn Hill was there, even though hers was a kind of surprise appearance and so on. But we've had incredible artists.
Bill Scott Heron, I remember that. Absolutely.
Yes, Bill,
my classmate.
And others. And so we want to be able to get back to that. But it's going to require that our community is willing to contribute. And let me say this, I am not having any mercy. My wife and I, we can't even go to any of these festivals and things that are going on out here when you're starting at $75, $80 for tickets. Hello. Seriously? But guess what? There are people who are showing up and packing those places.
Absolutely.
I live down in Maryland, and there's a new thing that's developed, maybe new to me, but the wine festival. And they are held out in some remote places. There's no public transportation there. But Terry, let me tell you something. We get up in the place and you can hardly park. People are jammed up in there.
Yeah,
they're into wine festival.
People do spend money for a lot of things.
So exactly.
It's important. And this is our pitch, Harlem Network News. International African Arts Festival is very important that we support our institutions, that we make our donations, that if there's an event, we spend our money and circle it within our community according to our Kwanzaa principles. This is the only way we're going to continue to move forward.
Terry, the festival for some of our craftspeople and vendors represents their largest or their best season in terms of selling what they have. They look forward to it. And so it's important that we bring the folks in so that they can be supported, and in turn, they will continue to support the festival and come. But let me jump real quick because I know our time
Yeah, thank you.
is short.
Yes, yeah, thank
We
you so
have
much.
several activities that are taking place this year. Um, one of which is on Saturday. We will have our parade, our festival parade.
All
Our
right.
grand marshals will be Baba Job Mashariki and his wife, Muslima Mashariki. Now, Job is has been a part of this journey with us almost from the beginning. His brother was G2 Wayusi, who was the founder
Absolutely.
of the East and who was Sasa School. But Job has himself created an organization called Black Veterans for Social Justice. Prior to that, he had another organization called Brothers and Sisters for Afro-American Unity. So he has always been on the front line, providing support and leading the struggle around self-determination for our communities. So he is, of age now, but we felt it was important that he gets his roses while he's still here too. And so that will begin at 1 p.m. on Saturday, and that would be the 6th. We're going to gather at G2 where you see Plaza in Brooklyn, which is
Hey.
at the corner of Fulton and Green. Folks who know the Fort Greene Senior Citizen Center, it's right across the street from there. So folks are welcome to join us. We're going to have marching bands, African drummers and dancers, etc. And we invite folks to come down and just, kick it up with us. It's probably about a 1.5 mile march from that site to the festival, and we'll go right in. So we invite you to join us. Additionally, now we always have the seminars that you mentioned earlier, the
Right. Yes,
symposium.
looking forward. Mm-hmm.
And this year, some of our guests will be Dr. Molefi Asante, whom I'm sure most of your folks are familiar with. Dr. James McIntosh will be here.
Okay. I love
And
it.
then we'll have former Assemblyman Roger Green, now Professor Roger Green, and a few other folks. And that's the symposiums will run from 9 to 4:30. They'll take place at a school right across the street from us, easy access, and a nominal fee for entrance to those events. We've also have talked about the parade. There will also be a dance conference. In fact, there's so much stuff I gotta just do it.
Right. Now, just to
with it.
take it back a minute, the
Yes,
symposium, the symposiums, what day
that
does
will be
it
on the 6th
happen?
also. That'll
Okay.
be the 6th in the morning.
Okay. Okay. In the
So that
morning.
will start at 9.
Okay.
Right.
Great. Okay.
But there
Excellent.
will be an African dance conference.
Mhm.
And so we invited all of the dance community. That will be on the 6th. The doors will open at 11:30. And that will also be at the school, which is PS 287, located at 50 Navy Street in Brooklyn. So it's really right across the street from there.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
we've got that taking place. And then there's a youth ensemble dance show because we always think it's important to have our young people involved. Very quickly, some of the young people, like the current commissioner for cultural affairs, Lori Cumbo, her
Yes.
father used to bring her to festival. You understand? A young sister who worked with Oprah and who was at her school in South Africa comes out of the East and out of Uhuru Sasa,
Okay.
Dewana.
All right.
So it's important that our young people grow up in an environment like that, and many of them go on to create their own institutions. I gotta say this part. We talked about G2. One of the significant things about G2 was that he was an institution builder, so that whatever he got into, it was about how do we organize, engage people, but that we create something that's not just a one-shot operation. And so you see from the East and the Hurusasa School, now we have the festival, 53 years. So institution building is significant in whatever we do. Okay, so did I miss any of the things? Because I tell you, there was so many: the dance conference,
Right. Well,
symposium, the march, and the youth ensemble. Now, the youth dance thing will be on Saturday. I'm sorry, starts on Friday at 8 p.m. That's Friday at 8 p.m. On July 5th, and they will be at the field. Okay, So that's pretty much the activities that will take place. Of course, one of the significant pieces about festival, and I mentioned it earlier, but it bears sharing again. The crafts people that come there, it is probably one of the most diverse shopping experiences that you could possibly have. You know, my wife, boy, she don't buy nothing for a whole year. So
Right.
she gets the festival, you know. I mean, she just saves up for it. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. And so it supports our craftspeople and what you talked about earlier, the Ujamaa, that we give back to our communities. And so that's critical that you can come and find damn near anything you want. And again, there's an emphasis on crafts. It's not just getting some stuff from China and setting up a table. This is about
Okay.
craftspeople and who are doing some things that continues to lift up the African identity. Now, the other thing, though, which is critically important, Terri, and I know we're running out of time here,
Yeah,
but
no, what you
we,
have to say is very important, and we want
yeah,
to
we need,
assure, that
absolutely,
the old comers and the newcomers, engage and support.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's critically important that folks understand that the festival has generally been a self-reliant operation. We have gotten support from state people and from city folks. Minimal stuff, really, just to keep. It's not what the major institutions get, and it is not something that 53 years of being on the scene doing this, that we ought to have been able to be in that level where we get the maximum grants. So we've got to work on working on that piece. But we need our community to support, and it's some basic stuff.
Absolutely. And it's doable.
It's doable.
It's
And
doable.
we've got one activity where we'd like people to support us based on the 53 years. If you gave us $1 for every year, just $1 for every year, it would be great. I mean, that would just be a simple activity. But I also want to encourage folks to let their children know about this, because they can't feel entitled that they got to pay to go see Beyonce, but when they want to come to the International African Arts Festival, they expect this to roll in. No,
Yeah,
no,
it doesn't
no,
work that way.
absolutely not.
It doesn't
But
work.
parents have to set that, because we talked earlier about folk paying for what they want to go see, but the things that they just take for granted, like the festival, I mean, Terri, you've got folk who will roll in there and fake dropping money in the barrel. Seriously, I mean, even if you drop $2-3, that's acceptable, because
Yeah,
every
do
bit
what you can.
counts.
Yeah,
And so we really
everything
want to
counts.
encourage people.
Yeah.
We really need folks to come out and support us and take charge, take ownership of what is ours. What is ours? This is not Coca-Cola providing this thing. This is our community. So we really encourage folks to support us, come out, enjoy the entertainment, or what we call inner attainment. And, let me tell you something. It's absolutely incredible to walk around that festival and see all of the beauty and experience the peace. And then, of course, the foods from everywhere, Africa, Caribbean. I mean, just the smells. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's
We've never been,
incredible. Thank
yeah.
you.
And you know what? I want to go back to the folks you talked about. Those who have been on the journey with us, you need to bring somebody. Tell somebody. This is an event when they come into town. Say, look, come on, I'm gonna take you over here to the festival because you need to check this out. 53 years. So those are your viewers. Bring a friend. Bring some friends. Bring the posse to support something that is ours. The
And
International African
absolutely.
Festival.
And that's why I'm so grateful that every year that Harlem Network News has been in existence, and we're 4 years now, we have been able to have you on, or have Dr. Segun Chibaka on. We also have had Dr. Maulana Karenga on in connection with Festival Kwanzaa. And I give a shout out to my partner, Brother Bernardo Ruby, who has helped to connect us with you all and was part of the East, a great friend of G2, you know, as well as his brother, Dov Mashariki. So, you know, this is family, this is community. And in order for us to move forward, because we see a lot of the chaos that's happening in the world, but I believe that it really is encouraging all of us to really get engaged, do our part, and not stand back. So,
Absolutely.
you know, that has to do with festival as well. We've got to support one another. I heard, believe Dr. Segun on BAI, and he was talking about it's festival, but just talking about the culture, the cultural connection that happens. And yes, bring young people, they will enjoy it. I know my children, you know, they went to festival, and even as teenagers, that was a great thing, and they enjoyed, and they still have lots of friends from festival where all the teenagers used to walk around, Baba Mzay's kids and my kid, you know, the Harlem kids, you know, Boomy and Taya, you know. So this is important. This is how this is how connections are made, and we've got to keep those connections. And our institutions, the fact that it's 53 years, you know, this is our community, our institution. So if you'd like to just give some closing remarks.
Yes, the closing remark ties into our theme about hope and moving forward. One of the things that we did this year, actually last 2 years, we expanded the board, and the expansion brought in second generation young people. So those names that you mentioned, my co-host is the granddaughter of one of our founding members, Mama Kuumba Ibaye, just an incredible woman, right? Her granddaughter is on the board. Brother Rabo, who was one of our staunch members, his son, who lives in North Carolina, is on our board. Jan Van Zant's son, Damon Van Zant, he's a board member. So if you see what's happening here, that second generation, and listen, here's the other thing. They ain't on there just on a whim. Each of them brings something substantial to the process.
Beautiful.
You understand? They are rocking it, and they are the future of this festival. Dr. Segun and I, we got to work on our exit strategy so that these young people can continue to move this festival to a whole nother level, because we're doing the same thing the same way. And I think that as we move into a new era, these young people are going to then show us there's a new way to do this. There's a new way to communicate. Hey, listen, I still have AOL. You understand? And I'm Facebook. They're into everything else that I don't even see. But they bring that, and they are bringing, or at least giving us an opportunity to reach new audiences. Okay, so that would be the closing remarks, is that there's hope, but we need your support also. And if you have some skills and you're looking to see how you can contribute, give us a call. Call me directly, 240-432-6081. You never know what you may have that can assist us in maintaining ourselves, but also growing. And Terri, I want to thank you so very much for just being there with us to provide us an outlet to share this wonderful news. And we look forward to seeing you there. And do give greetings to my brother for me, you know, because by the way, one last thing, I'm gonna go back to the Pan-African piece. The festival has always been a vehicle to bring people of African descent together, whether it's the Caribbean, whether it's Africa, or whether it's here in the States. And even the folks up in Harlem.
I got you. Okay, well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And when you're speaking about the new way, just quickly, that gave me a thought. Is any of the festival going to be virtual? Because I know that during pandemic we were virtual, And a lot of events are now a bit hybrid, you know, where you can go in person, but there's a part where you can also see virtually. Are we doing that with festival?
Well, we tried it for 2 years, and quite frankly, it was not successful. We probably
Okay,
need to approach it a different way. Now, do we document the festival? Yes.
okay,
Um,
good.
but we're trying to work on that so it would be more effective, because we don't want to pay to try and get new audiences, but the audiences don't show up.
Okay.
So we're going to keep it simple. There'll certainly be postings on Facebook, etc.
Mhm.
But the
Absolutely.
best thing to do is come on down.
Come on down. And
Come
thank you
on
so
down.
much, Baba Adeyummi. You all are a legend, and I'm honored to have you here, and just grateful that we're all still here.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, condolences. You've lost your son. I lost mine. You know, and so it's kind of like, even at this age and time, we have to be vanguard to keep doing the work, and then also to assure that there are younger people that can continue the work, because continuance is so important. So thank
Yeah.
you so much, Harlem Network News. You can reach out to us at harlemnetworknews@gmail.com, harlemnetworknews.org. You can dial us directly at 646-261-5397. You can Zelle us, you can, you know, Cash App us, make those donations, because is the media the message, or the message the media? And we got to keep this information flowing. It's just a very critical thing.
Yes.
So
And to reach us, I would just offer IAA Festival.
yes,
IAA Festival. Put that on, it will take you right to our website.
okay, excellent.
IAA Festival.
All
Thank
right.
you so much
Okay.
again.
So we got it done. Collective work and responsibility.
Yes,
Blessings to
ma'am.
all. Have a great day.
Blessing.
You
Thank
take
you. Thank
Appreciate
you.
you. Okay.